Welcome to Albufeira, Portugal, a city known for its gorgeous beaches, lively restaurants, and vibrant, rowdy nightlife. In the summertime, the population here swells to 300,000 plus people. In the off-season, it shrinks to around 40-some. We're going to be sharing the pluses and minuses of living in the party capital of the Algarve in the off-season, and some tips for managing those minuses. Let's go.
So Melissa, why did we move to Albufeira?
You're going to have to tell that story, dear. I don't know.
We moved to Albufeira because of the home. That was it. We had to find a home. We had never been to Albufeira. We hired somebody to help us find a place. She found a place in Albufeira. We loved the house. We picked it, and then we learned what Albufeira was all about.
From our trainer in Ireland. We were at a workout class. We were talking about, oh yeah, we're moving to Portugal. He's like, oh, where? Oh, Albufeira. And he's like, oh, the party town.
The party
That's
town.
awesome. And I was like, what did my husband get me into? What do you mean?
What do you mean, what did I get you? We made a joint decision to do this. The beaches are nice in and around Albufeira. In the off-season, they're quiet, which for some, that might be a plus, to others, a minus. And any of the fun activities are all closed down.
Worth it, but cold. The hiking trails near our house have been a big plus. Not only is it a super cool place, it is half the price that the other places we've stayed in have been because we're here in off-season. So at least for the next few months, we're getting quite the deal.
Another great deal was the car rental. We went with a company called Nice Rents, which we'll put the link down below. It's been the best service I've ever had. And we actually were able to rent the car for like 4 months at a pretty reasonable price. That's the nice thing about off-season. A lot of times going to a new country or moving to a new place, driving can be hectic. It's been pretty easy going in the off season, not a lot of cars. We had company, they couldn't believe how quiet it was, no cars on the road. I do have a feeling that's going to change drastically in high season, and we've already started to see it here in mid-March, so. Melissa doesn't drive.
I drive to Apollonia.
It's like less than a mile away.
That's as far as I'm going.
Parking has been way easy to find during the off season here in Albufeira. So that's a positive, right? The number one most important thing are the restaurants, you know?
Now, one of the bummers about living here during the off-season is that these fantastic restaurants, like this Michelin-rated one behind me, O Marinheiro, are closed during the off-season. This one's been closed since late November all the way through the first week of March. We get to go there again, and we can't wait.
This was actually the first restaurant we went to when we got to Albufeira. First night, we didn't know anything about eating out in Portugal. 4 hours later, the meal was done. We had a great time. We couldn't wait to come back. It too closed, but it did reopen in the middle of February, and we've been able to go back a few times, and it's fast become one of our favorite places. One tip, don't go to Portuguese restaurants too early. In fact, wait till about 7 or 7:30. You'll still be one of the first ones. We came at 6. They weren't even ready for us. The staff was still eating. Like, you can't eat now. The staff is eating. O Amigo is another restaurant we love that's been closed for a few months.
Some of the restaurants we haven't even been able to try yet because they've been closed the entire time that we've been here. Looks like they're about to start opening. Maybe we'll get to try them soon. Now, some fantastic restaurants have remained open throughout the entire season, like Ulu Setanu. They've been open even on Monday nights, so we've been able to have our date nights right here, and they have been fabulous. From the service to the food, everything. Wonderful.
I do have a tip though. If you have the owner take a picture of you, you might get a selfie of him.
Oh my God, we have to share that.
This is the Italian Republic. It was actually open the whole time we were here in the off season, so that was awesome. One tip, they have a burger that's really not a burger. There's only one slice of bread, but it's really good.
Paper Moon is another one of our favorites that stayed open throughout the off-season. We've learned so much about wine from Miguel the sommelier, and they put together these fun events, and of course, the food is fantastic. The Windmill restaurant has been open throughout the off-season, and it is spectacular. They only offer 3-course meals. No children are allowed. There's only 12 spots to sit up there. The views are phenomenal. It's pretty easy to get reservations at any restaurant that's open during the off-season because they're not too busy. I use Fork's website to make most of our reservations. It's made finding restaurants that are open during the off-season easy. Even with so many restaurants being closed, you will still be able to eat well no matter what here in Albufeira because there are a ton of grocery stores and they have huge selections. You're the one that realized this, that there's so many grocery stores because in high season, there's 300,000 plus people to feed.
So they need lots of grocery stores, and they have lots of grocery stores. Everywhere you look, there's a grocery store. It's amazing. Supermercados, hypermercados, mini mercados.
Oh my gosh. And even, in America, we've got some really big grocery stores. There is one here, not quite in Albufeira, but there is one here in the Algarve that I just can't even, it's just so massive, and I just,
The grocery stores are well stocked. They have tons of food options, drink options, wine options. We've been really impressed with the quality of the food and drink and the quality of the grocery stores.
Caixa 25.
When you arrive, you go into your app and you check in, or you take a number. Then you sit down and you wait for your number to appear. When your number appears, it tells you which desk, or balsao, I think is the word. And so then when you go to that desk, or at least my experience was, the person will say, "What do you want?" And I don't normally have people ask that when I'm at a hospital. They're usually like, "So when's your appointment scheduled for blah, blah, blah." So he asked me what I wanted, so I tried to explain, and okay, fine. And then when our number got called to go into the doctor's office, or when mine did, I went in and the doctor said, "What do you want?" "Oh, well, I guess I'd like this, this, and this." I didn't have to weigh in. I didn't have my vitals checked. We just talked about what my needs were, and I got the medications that I needed and the allergy testing that I requested. But that's where things got more complicated, because then when checking out from the experience, normally, or at least normal for me, is the person at the checkout thing already knows what I need and want and is like, "Okay, so what's your clinic number? Oh, let me put that in. All right, we're gonna do this, this, and this." That's not the case here. I went with the sheet and said, "Well, I'm supposed to get this test." "Oh, we'll go ahead and schedule that for you tomorrow." "No, I can't have it scheduled tomorrow. I need it a week from now because I need, these medications out of my system." "No, I'm going to schedule it for you tomorrow." And it was like something was happening with the language barrier. Like, he was a kind person, but something was going on language-wise where we weren't quite connecting, which resulted in me waiting for an hour in a spot where I probably wasn't supposed to be sitting.
The lesson we learned, when people say, you don't need to learn Portuguese if you move to the Algarve, this was one place where it really would have helped to know some Portuguese. In fact, it would help to know a lot of Portuguese, because that's the part where it gets tough, is that lost in translation stuff.
One reason we chose the Algarve area to move to in Portugal is that we heard that if you're an allergy sufferer, it's a better place to move. I disagree. Maybe it's better than northern Portugal as far as allergies go, but oh my gosh, I have never been so miserable with allergies before in my life. So quick tip, if you are an allergy sufferer, make sure that you get a dehumidifier because it gets humid and then there's dust mites. And you get yourself an air purifier. Since we've invested in those items and since I took my allergy test and figured some other stuff out, I feel fantastic. I was going through boxes of Kleenexes. I wanted to claw off my face and it was
pretty bad.
I was struggling to breathe. It was terrible for like 4 weeks.
When you learn about the Algarve, they say, oh, it's like San Diego. So to me, that's like, oh, super dry and stuff, but it's very, very humid. Like inside our home, it's like, if there's not a dehumidifier, it gets up to like 80% humidity. It's crazy.
Although if you're not impacted by allergies, like you didn't notice it. You didn't think it was humid in the house.
I've just been cruising along, having a good time.
If you are an allergy sufferer, hire somebody to help you find your house because this house is amazing.
Oh.
Like it doesn't have mold. There are other houses we've heard about here that have huge mold problems. And because we were able to have somebody come in here and look at it, we knew for sure that we didn't have that to contend with. I don't know what I'd do if it were like that.
Or just come to Portugal and find a place first before you move to Portugal.
If you're able to do that. We weren't.
No, we're weird that way.
I suppose we could have, couldn't we? We've heard that the strip and the marina get all kinds of crazy.
Hey, Brits, I don't know what it is, but we hear a lot of stories about how unruly you guys get.
Oh my gosh, do we ever?
Well, I'm not saying we've ever seen it, but boy, we hear the stories.
We haven't seen it yet, but we do expect to see it later this summer and to share with you what it's like being in the Algarve during high season.
We're going to do the research.
I don't know if we're going to enjoy it or if it's going to be a nightmare, but we're going to give it a go.